All right. John McCaig, Jack McCaig here. And like I said, I would do a Sunday regular. Uh, I guess some people call it a service, but let's just say. Oh, let's see, what's this? Anyway, hope you can hear me. Topic today: um, the meaning of Christ, and this is what I use to uh, basically as a yardstick, as a measuring device to see who's, with God, really. You see, uh, I'm not really a minister, am I, or a pastor, or a priest, or anything like that. No, I'm a prophet, right? I just know the truth. Nobody knows. Nobody knows, or nobody's saying. I think, as I've said a lot, know, but they don't say. Only one can say, you know, that finds out. Okay, that's the role I have, prophet. So okay, let's just do the meeting of Christ. We'll see if somebody shows up here. Boy, my throttle day. Even got it scheduled and all that stuff, but still hard to see me. Okay, the meeting of Christ is kind of simple. It's because people are like, oh, that's Jesus. Well, not really, because I mean, Jesus was Christ, is Christ. Yeah, that's true. But it's not limited to Jesus. You see, uh, meaning the guys was who is that? Oh, that's Jesus of Nazareth, right? Would he get a last name or anything like that? And so he's a guy named Jesus from Nazareth. Okay, and then all these events happen, and then New Testament, he's Christ, right? So and everybody's like, oh, okay, well, I'm Christian. Okay, but what does it mean? Everybody says the anointed one, right? Oh, the anointed one. Oh, that's what Christ means, the anointed one. Okay, but that's like saying someone's a teacher, you know? What do you teach? Teacher of what? You know? Doesn't make any sense. Oh, I'm a teacher. It's like, okay, well, you teach like the alphabet to preschoolers? I mean, what do you do? What do you teach? Teach art? Do you teach math? Do you teach? You see, what are you doing? When somebody says, "Oh, he's the anointed one," you say, "Anointed to do what?" You see, like what does that mean? And so, because obviously Christ is a title given to the guy, Jesus Christ. So, what's the title mean? Where is the meaning of the title? Where does it come from? What does it bestow? Right? The anointed one isn't an answer. That's It's a joke answer. It tells you that someone is not actually a Christian because they don't know the meaning of the word, right? Okay. So rainbows prove we are inside a crystal dome. Period. There's no way around that truth. Ancient love. Looks like a, all right. There's no way around that fact, right? That's why say you're at the beach for the day, you get in the shower, or you're spraying a hose outside, right? Shower, that's a shower outdoors. You see rainbow in it, right? But you can do the same. You have a shower indoors, and there's a light in every shower inside, no rainbow. And we're told, oh, light water drops, rainbow. Never see one indoors in a shower. Never. Why? It doesn't make any sense. You see, so that's not why how rainbows are created. Okay, light has to pass through, a prism, a crystal. That's the only method. That's why a diamond throws off rainbows. It has a crystalline structure. Okay. So, that's why all them, you know, I guess they don't call them New Agers. I guess they call them, whatever. the festies, right? They all got that, you know, what are they, circle of life, tree of life, like cage of the dome thing, that looks like oh, I can't remember. Buckminster Fuller's like his domes. That's what it looks like. It's like you're in a dome. So why is this important that we're inside a crystalline structure? And why is that important to the meaning of Christ? Because Christ, crystal, looks like the only one here. Yeah, no, when you talk about the truth, this just shows how scared the system is of the information I give, right? Been doing it for over a decade, more truth than the rest of the human race combined, right? I won the race, so I have more information than the rest, everyone else in the race. So, but that's why they absolutely fear what I say. Rightly so, because the truth sets you free. It sets you free from the programming, and then it also sets you in the right direction, and gives you many I what do I do with my thing? Spiritual and financial technology, right? Meaning, I teach people how to do miracles. Just I teach repeatable miracles. Here's how you do this miracle, and this is the principles of it. This is how you do it, right? Not magic, miracles, like that God bestows grace on someone who performs these actions. Repeatable miracles, right? That's my work. So, okay, back to Christ. Uh, so he's given this title Jesus Christ, right? And what does that mean? So we're in a crystal dome, yeah. Well, you could see the dome, but we're in a crystal sphere, right? We're in a crystal sphere, just like the moon is a sphere, the sun is a sphere. Those are crystalline spheres within the ocean that we're looking at, right? Ocean gets black at night because there's no light in it. It's blue during the day because there's sunlight. You look outside, same thing outside the dome. It's blue during the day. It's black at night. That's the ocean. We're in a bubble in the ocean, a crystal bubble in the ocean. That's I don't know how many years I've been saying this. So obvious, right? You know, and because they keep the human slaves in here, the know nothing human slaves in here, and they make fun of their human slaves, don't they? Right? SpongeBob in a dome in the ocean. It's like we'll tell the children and we'll give them decades and they'll still never figure it out. And somebody will tell them and they'll still never figure it out. I'll be like, no. Perfectly trained. Humans are perfectly trained to be stupid, right? A human intelligence is a hoax. Everything is like, let's see how smart they are. What do you remember about what you were programmed to say at this question, right? Who's the first president of the blah blah blah? Oh, blah blah blah. That's not intelligence. That is not intelligence. That's the opposite of intelligence. You see, human intelligence is a hoax. Right? God bestows intelligence based on your actions, whether you're worthy to have intelligence or not. Right? If not, you're programmed to not receive intelligence. You just can hear it, it passes off, you're done. That's it. Okay, so, and that's why, I have Christ consciousness. I am Christ at this time. I've demonstrated it, proven it, done it for over a decade, have all the knowledge of it. But it says Mayor Obama said he was Christ, right? He had Christ consciousness. So, uh, but it's like what he said. When Christ comes, the one with Christ consciousness, everyone in the past is like, oh, so respected. Jesus Christ, Krishna, right? Means same thing. Krishna, Christ, Krishna. He, right? That's what you get. Consciousness. And so anyway, they just make fun of it because in the past everybody's like, oh my god, I really respect this, look at all the temples and the religions and blah 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 blah. It's the thing we should be doing. Wow, that's I aspire to that. In the future, it's like he's coming. You better be ready. He's coming, he's coming, he's coming, he's coming. But in the present time, the one with Christ consciousness is always absolutely maybe the most hated human alive, right? Worse than Hitler. Stop saying that. We're not in a 64-year time loop. Shut up. Can't get out of death and taxes. Oh, yeah, you can. This is how you do it. Shut up. We're just going to make it so nobody can see you. So funny. Ancient Love, I stopped following you when you chewed me out for not being a real human. That was a couple of years ago. I'm over it. Still in Florida, hoping to catch up at a drum circle one of these days. Ancient Love, right? No, there's 7,000, they're all different. Let's just say it this way. Okay, you want me to be kinder about who's human? The fallen angels taking a human form, they want to be counted as human. We're humanity. We have it in us. Humanity, right? We're geniuses. We have jinn in us. Yeah, well, there's seven. I mean, I don't know why I got to break this down to you. Like, you don't know this. Whoever this, like, the deal is there's 7,000 humans that won't deal to the devil. 7,000 won't deal to Baal. That's it. There's no more. 7,001. That's me. And so there's 7,001 in here that won't kneel to the devil. Of course, the devil offered me the whole kingdom and all that. I was like, no, thank you. That's not, your kingdom is gone in 10 years. So why would I want that? No, you know, but the rest are subhuman, meaning like there are many types of fish, right? There's whatever, swordfish, and there's a minnow, and there's garfish. There's so many kind of fish. There's so many kind of birds. There's so many kind of dogs. There's so many kind of ants, etc., etc., etc. So there are a lot of kind of people. You know what I mean? But what's one name of God? Hugh, right? Hugh man, in God's image. So, you're in God's shadow's image. You know what I mean? When you're still like not up to the role of the 7,000, where you won't kneel to the devil because you won't kneel to the prison warden here, the God of this world, the Lord of hosts, right? You're hosted if you're not one of the 7,000. So, you know, if you're one of them, you consider yourself human, but really you think you're still thinking your thoughts. You haven't even figured out somebody sending you your thoughts, so they're not even your thoughts. You're the one going, "Oh, what should I do about this thought that got sent to me?" But like, you can't create a thought right now. No one can. I can't. No, it's not possible. They're sent to us. And so we don't want to be sent the wrong information, right? That's what we're being sent. We come in here, we're we, right? We're one with the devil thought. Oh, here I'm gonna do a symbol today, right? I'm gonna be the first one to ever explain the symbol fully. God, someone showed up. Okay, what is this, right? It's a lot of things. Let's get to the meanings that nobody knows, okay? Respect you, the knowledge is shared. J Baba, right? Let's do let's do the symbol. Speaking of Baba, let's do the Baba symbol and its meaning right now because he holds us up, right? I am the Alpha and Omega. I am, right? Allah 2033. Correct. But what else? What else is it? Right? 9, 11, 9, 11, 9, 11. Right? 2033, 9, 11. Yeah. Right? And so, what does that mean? Who could know this? No one told me any of this. Right? I mean, no physical formed human. Obviously, God tells me. But so let's go into what is the meaning of that? I know the actual meaning of that. I just explained it. Right there, you go. It's also obviously 666 has the same meaning. The God of this world, and everybody. We be 33. Right? It means all those. It has all those meanings in one meeting because it's so important. Larry, all right. 9 plus, yeah, 2. 9 plus 11 equals 2, meaning do it again. Everybody on the other team is like 2. And this is, because they're subhuman, right? They aspire. This is what happens. I've explained this before, but actually, let me explain something I never explained before. And again, I have something else in my mind I want to share today that I never have. Who is Jesus, right? Because when I met with the 3 aspects of God when I was given my title, uh, and Gabriel is the servant that hands out the sword of judgment to me. It does not hand it out to say it out to one, the first one who wins the game in the time limit. That's it. That's the deal, and that's who it is. So it's always that same, you know, one coming. Uh, and then the second one who I met, Mirababa, right? Only thing, first thing, no, sir, first thing Mirababa said to me was, right, I'm infinity, right, infinity. And then Jesus next, I'm infinity times infinity, 8 times 8, 64. Figured it out later. Now, the way it's said in the Bible is so on. It said, it said like this: I am the Alpha and Omega. Right? What is that? Just listen. Just that saying alone. Do you understand? I'm the Alpha and Omega. Beginning of the time loop, the end of the time loop. Whoop. Alpha Omega, Alpha Omega, Alpha Omega, Alpha Omega, Alpha Omega. I'm running a time loop here. He's saying it. I am the Alpha and Omega. I'm the one that starts to stop this thing by my actions. You see, I come in the time loop. Everything's set up. I'm with God. I do what I'm supposed to do, and I'm under veil. That's it. No one knows this information. The other team knows this information. They're not allowed to say because you're supposed to witness an individual human, treated like shit, no better than nobody else. What's he? He's just some old dude he's just talks regular English. He don't know nothing nobody else knows. He just looks regular. You know what I mean? And yet this is what happened. And having nothing, God stepped in and he knows everything. And so the game is played like that because no one is beneath winning the game. Do you see what I'm saying? Based on yardsticks and measurements of the dome, anyway. No, it's the opposite. It's the opposite world. You see? All those measurements matter about what? You know, how you look in the mirror of the dome, mirror, mirror on the wall, looking at the dome. Who's the fairest of them all? Right? That's what all that stuff's about. Oh, ain't all my dome whatever cool? Nah, yeah, mirror, mirror on the wall. You ain't even seeing the mirror on the wall. You're just seeing what's behind you at the reflection. Look at all my stuff, baby. I'm somebody. Yeah, you're prisoner number 4 billion by my mail. That's who you are. You're nobody. I'm Mr. Number. Nobody. You can't even see the mirror on the wall. You see? So Jesus is the Alpha and Omega, the one that starts to stops the time loop. Right? We're in an age, it's called. We're in an age. The age keeps repeating, 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 repeating for an age of a man. That's why it's called an age. A cycle is the end of that repeat, 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 repeat. You follow? And so God chooses, Mir chooses, the God of this cycle, which lasts. You'll never, you know what I mean? The Jesus cycle, like, when's that going to end? Like, it obviously doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, did any past cycles actually happen? What does it matter? How, we're not we're in a 64-year time. This is your opportunity. There's not why you don't need it. It's unfathomable, really. Did it happen? Did it happen? It exists in our 64-year time where we have access to Jesus Christ. That consciousness exists. That entity exists. You know, there's no, but Jesus is not separated from God anymore. Neither is Muhammad. Neither is Buddha. Do you see what I'm saying? Neither am I. Like, that's the way it is. So in a cycle, 5 perfect masters are chosen for the whole cycle. You see what I'm saying? They do it every time, every time, every time, every time. They know, they know, they know. You see the Beatles come in. What I know they hanging with the Beatles, or hanging with who, you know what I mean? They're hanging with you're like, what? You hung with who and what did what? You know what I mean? They know everything like that movie with where I don't know, some famous little actor goes to this time loop with finding aliens and stuff. It's the same day over and over. Oh, also like Groundhog's Day, it's the same day over and over and over and over and over and over. See, that's what it is. It's they couldn't not memorize it even if they didn't want to memorize it. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't be even possible to not memorize it. You know, every up, every down. How could you not have money or live where you want to live or do any of that stuff? You do it according to your orders from God. And so they're given that consciousness to keep the game running. And every time, you know, that specific individual who's my guru finds me, da da da, right? But I'm not coming back. Somebody else is going to play and Jay Jack. You know what I mean? Somebody's going to get jacked up in here. It's so funny, isn't it? Like you got to play all the roles, and then, well, Jack McCaig wouldn't change. Like, oh, you know, let's write out Jack McCaig. That part's no longer in here. No, maybe next cycle. You follow, but not in this age, not in this repeating age. I mean, you see what I'm saying? So anyway, so they're, you know, each cycle's the same. It's always, you know, United States. It's always this stupid thing. You know, other roles, other consciousness, sure. After 11 ages, it will be 5 new perfect masters. No, not after 11 ages, is it 11? After each cycle, it's after each cycle, there's 5 new perfect masters. Not after how many ages in a cycle? I mean, that's been said, right? I think, you know, that's what that whole Tower of Babel looking thing like that supposedly Rado Gailey is supposed to have painted, right? That I decoded into the time loop as so in 11 ages and all that. But here's the thing. I mean, I'm sorry, 11 cycles, 11 ages cycle. I mean, but do those other ages actually happen? Do you see what I'm saying? Within a cycle, maybe they did. Do you follow me? And maybe there's this and that to talk about. That's why uh it's never that Mayor Bob is wrong. Do you follow me? It's always that it has to be decoded in a certain way to understand it. That's why somebody has to play the game and be able to speak this in regular English. Uh, and then some of it is honestly like some of it's unfathomable and doesn't even matter. You know what I mean? Like, oh, let me put it this way. Let me put it this way. It's written about Mayor Baba and his guru, Upasni Maharaj, right? They spent time with, most time with, and stuff like that. For 5 perfect masters, he spent all his time basically, mostly, pretty much, with Upasni Maharaj, right? I spent my time with one perfect master pretty much, you know? So, uh, anyway, uh, what was I getting? Oh, there was a time when, there was a day when Upasni Maharaj and Mayor Baba were sitting down together, right? As somebody wrote of them, it's like in Lord Mayor or something, that they were counting the universes. You know what I mean? Basically, the crystal sphere sections, is they were sitting there, well, how many are there? They began to think, and their minds started to go there, but you can't stay in your body. You see what I'm saying? Some knowledge about God is so it's too much to, you know, it's already too much to keep infinity of any knowledge in here in the finite. It's too much. It almost can't be done. It's done by me, and basically you're not witnessing it from any other human. You're not. You won't see it to this level no matter what. And the 5 that are given it are that are bestowed it for the cycle, they absolutely follow their orders. Shut. I never learned anything about this from my guru. Nothing, zero, zero. So you must get it. So anyway, the point is, they were trying to count, how many crystal spheres there are out there, and just the attempt to do that started to pull them out of their bodies. You see what I'm saying? Into the infinite, and where your consciousness is not separate from, like mine isn't, but you can't keep your foothold in the finite to answer some questions, and you're under orders to stay in the finite till end, and until the end of time. Anyway, so Alpha and Omega, you see a starter, finisher, starter, finisher, starter, finisher, starter, finisher. I'm the Alpha Omega. Jesus is that consciousness. Do you see what I'm saying? Mary Baba is that consciousness. That is, Mary Baba is the one that won the first time. He's always here, always going to run it, and chose his son, Jesus Christ. Nobody, ain't never anyone going to, like, the creator of all humans and stuff, God, did create a perfect individual who will always be number one in this cycle. I mean, in this uh repeating age, in this cycle, whatever. It's always going to be Jesus. That's the name. All the do other people have Christ consciousness? Yeah, but like, honestly, people that use my name call it causes an absolute, you know, night and day experience out there for them. And I've had people say it to me that, have been around me for, like, I use your name and that, like, this happened. You know what I mean? Like, the other team goes crazy. He's nobody. No, don't. He, they overdo it. Oh, but that ain't, you know, every knee must bow, every tongue confess. You see what I'm saying, Jack McCaig? Nah, that ain't, like, they confess who they are accidentally with their, they sort of do, but not as, a sword that anyone is given at any moment that's laid down on the law of Jesus Christ. You see that God gave us a name. So nothing against other names or something like that. I'm not, why should I, I'm not checking God on, hey, should you have, nothing against Muhammad or Buddha, nothing against any of that. I mean, they all have the same consciousness, so it's nothing against them. Uh, it's God makes the choices up here and who gets the grace, and not me. You know, I just try and tell people, hey, this is how I got it, so this is how you can get it. That's repeat the miracle. That's all. So, that's what the meaning of Christ. Let me see. Okay, Alec, great question though. It really is. Cal, this is a silly question, but if they have knowledge and consciousness of what's going on, how come some of them can barely write English? Because, you know, did you see that joke short I made on the channel here of I can't think of that dude's name who's president, but anyway, that old dude who's president now, and he just freezes. And I made that, and but my, and my I made a title for that short out there. They got a lot of views. Tesla robot, what did it say? Tesla robot freezes during full self-driving mode. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's like a robot, like they are like robots. You see what I'm saying? Most people out there are literally organic robots, basically. They don't have consciousness. This is actually a great question. This is a great question. This is a great question, actually, because this is the advancing of consciousness. That's what we're here to do. Advance our consciousness, right? We're separate. We're with God. Oh, okay. And God, we always have to go back to the beginning, don't we? We always have to go back to the beginning. How did because unless you ask the question why, you always have to go to the same yardstick for every question about God. Always comes down to the same thing. Nothing else, really. It all comes from this one principle. Every answer to every spiritual question comes from here. Why is this happening? Because you're like, I'm under a dome. Like, what? This is crazy. You know what I mean? Like, you have to, you have to be like, okay, this is some shock and awe. This ain't no, that Iraq thing was nothing, man. You got a dome over the whole joint. What? You know? So you got to go back to why is this happening? God had an original whim of fan sea, right? The wind went across the sea, and the waves followed, right? And so God wanted to know self. Who am I? What am I? Right? It's each individual has that question buried within them. Well, you come from God. You come from the ocean, right? You come from something that is not separate from anything. That is everything. That is not. You see what I'm saying? This is before creation. This is God. There's nothing that isn't God. So, but the whim, this thought entered God and was like, I wonder what I am. You know what I'm saying? Because that original state of God is like when we're asleep. We still have that state. Do you follow? We're all pieces of God all at one time. You see, our goal being to get to the final stage. We have a all within us at one time. We're just getting to that final stage though. And then it's like, oh, the goose is cooked. Like we're done. And so then we don't repeat parts of the stages. You see, but time and this separation and all this stuff, it only exists in this dome, this feeling of that. Once you get outside this dome, you're everything, including this and everything that's going on. It's like time doesn't exist. So it's like everything's known. Uh, but God wanted to know self. And so what happened? That automatically created creation, the creator, preserver, destroyer aspect of God. And this whole, everything was created just from the thought of God, who is unlimited, everything, right? Just made creation happen and made these repeating time loops and made it all occur perfectly like this, just from that one point of wanting to know self. Why? Because this unlimited, if infinite separation from God, this infinite, shadow of God that we find ourselves in due to God's whim, is a shadow of God. In other words, a shadow, your shadow, that's not real. You see, this isn't us. Why? Because we feel limited, right? What do you mean unlimited? I know everything, be a part of everything. What are you talking about? You're not having that genuine experience right now as I describe it to you. You don't have that. And you can't remember having it fully in every aspect of, the three aspects of God that permeate you and then don't leave you, right? Sat, chit, and ananda, right? Sat, knowledge, right? Chit, power, ananda, the bliss. Those are the true, real, three parts of God that truly are, and truly the three parts of you that are. When I go to the drum circle, what do? For the fairies, right? I run everything because what? My consciousness is tied to God. So I pray for the fairies that God help them, give them Satchitananda, power, bliss, and knowledge. Now they need it. Make them happy so they can make others happy so that they can do their job. I pray for them to have that aspect of God permeate them that so they could do their job. Can you imagine remembering all your freaking lifetimes and having to play drums every time and be happy? Yeah, I should shoot myself. And they're like, oh, here I am playing drums again. Wait a second, I just shot myself. Why did that? You're like, that didn't work. We tried again. That didn't work. We tried again. That didn't work. You're still, your role is your role. You better get it right. You see, you have to perfect it. You have to keep the game silent. Do they screw up? Yeah, maybe the first couple billion times or something, but not the next billion upon billion. You see? They get it right. Because if they don't get it right, they don't advance. Why? Because you don't advance. You have to play great. If they cheat, they cheated you up. And what do you think? God doesn't tabulate everything perfectly? If they cheat you, that just means you got to work harder in the end. I got to do an extra miracle, or you know what I mean? Like, because God's grace is an automatic reaction to your actions. That what it is free will real? Not really, not really, right? You have control of your heart. You're like, you know, basically God breaks your heart and then gives you, in the end, a seventh play, Christ consciousness, which is really the universal heart. It's not really the universal mind. You already, you sure you get the knowledge and all that, but it's usual universal heart because God breaks your heart. It has to remove it. It's like that thing's your ticket's broken, buddy. That ain't working. And I'm the one that broke it. Boom. You see? And that's the way it's played. The game is played like that. Why? Because he has to break every inner in your heart, every desire you have, every desire implanted by God, right? And the programming around us, all that has to be crushed, including your, I want my children to do blah, blah, everything crushed, annihilated, removed, has to be. And it has to be what? Because we're separate, right? We're experiencing separation from God. And that separation here in a male and female bodies naturally wants to be, what? Not separate anymore. I want to be joined again. And we're in these bodies that link together with male and female. That's not our end goal. Is to be, you see what I'm saying? It's hard. That's not the end. Link up and stuff that makes us one. No, that's there. That's how love is created. Oh, a joining. Oh, that's cool. And but it's really that is an aspect of just we're supposed to link up with God. That's empty in the end by comparison. Nothing against men, nothing against women. It's just this is the game here. Like our goal is to become reunified with God, not, somebody else in as difficult a position as we are. That's how it starts. You can't have not get to God without compassion for your fellow human situation and so on, but having over passion for your fellow humans isn't enough passion for God, right? What two commandments? Love God, they love your brothers and sisters, not love your husband or wife. No, no, no. God, then you see. And that's where we mess it up because we're in this shadow effect, right? We're trying to relink up with God, like because our consciousness is separate. That's all we have an inner, longing. And as the closer you get to God, the more severe that inner longing becomes. That it just it's the waiter comes by. Oh, here I bought you a plate of rainy Saturday in St. Paul, Minnesota. Here you go. That's your meal for the day. You're like, get this fucking. If you send me, you know what I mean. Like they have to. Here's another. Try another meal. Here, bring another. Here you go. You're like, get me if you have to not want any of the meals anymore and see that wait who are you who's the waiter that's sending me these meals you know you're like, can you just stop sending me the meals, and who's the waiter? I'd like to speak to the waiter, please. Is there anyone above you? No. Well, have a seat. I need some questions answered. Stop with the meals. Some of them can barely write English, so I'm trying to kind of paint a picture that, uh, like a dog, you know. So we have to go through all these forms, and including human forms, right? They're different human forms. Bear Mama said the first human form is a eunuch. That's why clothes are worn in every place because we can't tell who the eunuchs are. Like power is given in reverse. You see, where you have no knowledge and stuff like that, where you have no heart, and all you're all didactic. You're given all the money, all the power, everything. The eunuchs run everything, but that's backwards. We don't want power here. They come in one with the devil. You see, they're unified. They're not separate from the devil. They're in that hive mind state where all thoughts sent from the devil, like permeating from the queen of this, the queen bee of this hive. They are not separate from that. They feel to themselves, you know what I mean? When you get stung, right? By the best thing that can sting you, you never feel like they have something that makes it so you can't feel the stinger go in and shoot, yeah, and then suck the life out of you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it's like. Uh, they are not separate from they don't have true consciousness where they can step back and say, "Oh, let me examine these thoughts and decide what I'm gonna." No, 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 no. They're their thoughts. It's automatic. You see what I'm saying? That's why when you speak to them, that's what throws them off track. Like when you speak it to like them about any of the stuff I'm talking about today. Like if you're having either face to face or you're having like a one-on-one conversation, like, no, because the rainbows, you could be standing out, I'll be standing out next to, outdoor shower, and oh, look at this rainbow. Like, yeah, that happens because they're just like choink. Like you could be throwing words at them and stuff, and it's just like boing, boing, it's bouncing off. Because they're in a tight programming loop. It's complex. It ain't like an IBM 286. You know what I mean? It's highly, evolved creature that God made with limited parameters of consciousness. The thought being like the bicameral mind is that if thoughts are sent to an organic thing enough times, right, and it keeps operating close to consciousness, that eventually it will have a thought. Yes, it will. And what will that thought be? It will start to develop a heart, right? And then you become your angel under perfect, right? Under perfect orders, that's the angels under perfect orders, and then you start to have your own thought. One day, when God give you an order, and there's a freaking 3-year-old child in front of you, and God says, "Kill that child," as an angel, you're like, "That's a 3-year-old. What are you talking about?" You know what I mean? It's like, no, it's because of past stuff. You're like, man, I can't kill a 3-year-old. Like that's, I mean, I want to follow your orders and stuff, but I can't. You know what I mean? Like you that's a that you something happened and you had a heart that day for the first time ever. You see what I'm saying? Now you're a fallen angel. You see what I'm saying? Because what happened? You thought, and God did this on purpose to you. You see what I'm saying? Did it on purpose to you to create a heart within you, gave you an impossible order on purpose, and you fell from grace. You see what I'm saying? I know more than God. That's stupid. You know what I mean? Like everybody does that. What? That's dumb. I can't know. And then fall, right? You don't know more than God. Of course not. God set you up, so you're screwed. But you fell anyway. And now what? You have to earn your feathers and wings back. Them in here. They weren't earning before. They had it. Just that's they're created. They went through all the fours, get to angel form, pow. Okay, you're under orders. That ain't really consciousness now, is it? Because what? Angel could be in God's presence, right? I'm telling you, haven't been in God's presence, there you do not have free will in God's presence. Period. There that is impossible until you reach the seventh plane. It's actually impossible to have free will in God's presence. You could only barely have it on the seventh plane. Why? Because God, part of what God does is permeate a desire for all creatures to serve God. There's no way that you can sort of not want to serve God in God's presence. It's only when you get into, oh, I'm not in the room with God. Well, God, you're never separate from God, but you're feeling that, you're experiencing that. Oh, I'm separate now. What? That's a stupid order. I'm not doing that. And you fell. Oh, now you're one of the get back in line, Disney. You ain't doing it. Was done. Watch. That's what an order. That's what an order does. Boom. You have and they find out. Oh crap. You know what I mean? Something about this 3-year-old that was the devil's son, or you know what I mean. You do nothing, and whoops. And so now you're like crap, and so you go back to the bottom of the heap, right? And now hey, 0.0.000000 angel, right? Mr. Nobody, or your feathers and wings back up. Like that's why the Freemason have 33 steps. And so that's all the fallen angels. They're playing characters at all levels to get back, right? To what? Not to angel form, That's an angel form they fell. They're not getting back to that. Get back to this form right here. One of the 7,000. Oh, because what? You grew a heart, but you what? You grew a heart. You said no to God. Like I can't do that. That seems wrong. But God showed you that no, God is right, and your heart is to actually listen to God because God is always right. And you find out later, you're like, oh crap. You know what I mean? We're in a 64-year time loop. What? You know what I mean? Like I would have. You would do different things. You see. So yeah, you just don't know some things that you thought you knew, but you didn't know. That's why you didn't follow the order, whatever it was. But then you're given back, fall in line, get in ranks, and you see the whole game from behind the scenes. You better keep it quiet or you get demoted. You see what I'm saying? And they have to play these roles opposite us. So we have a game to play to win our consciousness. You see? So their consciousness is limited. At every stage, theirs is limited compared to ours. It's limited compared to ours. So, you know what I'm saying? You are one of the 7,000, and you're noticing what your differences are from them. Like, oh, they can't write English and stuff. That's what you're noticing. Differences, and you and them. Oh, I'm not one of them. They look like me, but they're not me. What's this? You see what I'm saying? You're noticing the differences, Cal. All right, I went off for a while about that, but it's really actually a super important point that you brought up. It really is. All right. Uh, Alan, I found you your trust after someone told me that a malevolent fairy that are interacting with could not talk to people who signed your trust. And I knew that your trust is a what? Oh, baby, right? It's so. I have spent now a few years trying to get around my trust, and I can't do it. It's so weird to me. You know what I'm saying? But there are rules in here, and I was given this. The rules aren't going to change. It wasn't like it's sort of like it's like woman. I'm going to try on 20 wedding dresses, and then I'll feel better. You know what I mean? They'll pick one. But if you try on the right one the first time, it's like, well, wait, oh, babe, boom, what? Done. You know what I mean? So obviously, God sent me that information, what to do and everything for that trust. So it's not meant to get around, because the in God we trust, it exists. And so there has to be this countervailing document that you have to have enough knowledge and heart combined to get to this point where you notice, like you did, Alan, wait a second, there's an anomaly here with something. I'm interested in that because I want to beat you. You know what I mean? Like we have to have both head and heart, meaning we have to have had these awful experiences and realize I'm not like you. Like I've we feel rejected in a way from you know what's going on around us. We have to feel that because we're being separated from the herd as propelled towards God. So that's happening. We are separate. We're one of the 7,000. So if you're not, everyone must have had this feeling from the beginning. Like and noticing like I'm sort of living a life that seems to be a little different than other people's. Uh, because they tell you this stuff and it's like, oh, I'm not doing that. But they aren't either. They're just given a script to tell you what that they're doing. Did they do it? Not usually, at least not usually. And definitely not the way they said, you know what I mean? Like, because they know what everything that's going on and everything. So it's not like they just, I went to the park today. And, nah, they that's not the creatures over there. That's not them. That might be you, but you see, like Kelly's saying, I'm noticing differences. Here's one: they can't write. Like they just have glitches in their programming on purpose. Not like they're different than us, and we're supposed to notice that. You see, they haven't fully evolved yet. And so we're supposed to notice that. And this is the difference. And oh, okay. And that's okay that I'm not like you because I don't actually want to be like that's weird, you know? So we're supposed to have that repellent feeling. Oh, ooh, what's going on? That's that longing for God is also, uh, you know, a desire to be away from them, like 6 feet. What I mean? Like that is the same thing. You're being pulled over here, but you're also pushing off, from over here to get the energy to go that way, right? Like a reject push. That's a great story, Alan. I'm happy. But that's what I'm finding out. Like this trust doesn't let people steal my trust and all that stuff. What is that? You miss the spiritual hierarchy. Like, what are you talking about? You have no actual guide. Like, it's not the piece of paper by itself. Like, where did it come from? Like it don't work like that. Just like you say. Stop sending the Simon Quee, all right. No, they exactly, Kelly. I mean, no, I say yes. Yes, Kelly, yes. They're trying to get their own thoughts and their own yes, they have an identity, but it's implanted on them, you know? And they have to sort of break out of that tight eggshell, Humpty Dumpty, they have to break out of their character a little bit. But only someone who is broken out of their character can show this is how it can be done. Why? Because this is actually what's going on. You see? So you might not want to do this because listen, they're the watchers, right? They're the ones that run the Disney show and all that. But who has an effect on them? Man, I do. Don't I? Don't I push all of them? Because they're a hive mind. Why did Baba say, oh, a perfect master, right? The avatar can move the whole world, right? How can I move their whole world? Just by my consciousness, because they're forced to watch me. And then, God unites me with God, sends me more information from the Holy Spirit, and I speak the truth, and here I am again today. They're forced to watch. Their consciousness has to change. They're like, oh crap. You know what I mean? Like, not every time. Why is the avatar always changing? Man, you got to get through their programming. You know what I'm saying? They who have these billions of lifetimes and stuff like that, they have to witness something that makes them want to give up the world and complete control of this place, to leave here. And you have to show them, man, this place ain't nothing. You're attracted to this place? You're kidding. You haven't been with God. Oh, that's your, oh boy, sucker. You know, you have to show them that they're blowing it. They're having the worst choice that could possibly happen by your actions and your knowledge and by them watching you, watching me. That's the only way to change the world is change that hive mind. I could do that just by interacting with them as I do regularly. They'll say something to me, I'll be like, da da da. They're like, you know what I mean? And then it's like, shriek all throughout the whole hive. Click, lights on, baby. You see? Good explanation. Good. No, but that was a good question. Actually, that got really at the root of this. The way they are, you know what I mean? They are how they are. They're not going to be not how they are. You have to just accept they are who they are, and then you go, oh, what are they? What are your attributes? What can you do? What can't you do? What are your parameters? Like you're finding out. That's why. That's why I'm like, oh, can I poke you in the eye? Oh, I can't poke you in the eye. Sorry. You know what I mean? Like, whoops. Can I poke you in the other eye? Oh, yep, I can. Okay. Can I do it again? Oh, yeah. Oh, can I do the other eye again? Oh, I can poke him. Okay. Well, I'll stop poking the eye. Can I do it 3 times then, just to make sure? Because I really want to poke you in the eye after all the crap you done. But you know what I'm saying? Like that's don't just poke them in the eye. You follow me? Do it to find out what their parameters are. So they could just not even worry about it. Once you know how they're programmed as stuff, it's like, well, I just beat you by blah. You know what I mean? Sign the trust and yeah, back it up over there. What you know from experience, someone can tell you, I can tell you, but then you're like, well, let me trick this out. And then you go, wow, that did work. And then you try to get, wow, that did work. Wow, I keep doing this. This keeps working. I keep saying the name of God. And they can't read my mind. Keeps working, and then it becomes a habit. So the technology is infused on both sides. For one, that's how I push the world. Java Queen. Okay, we're winding up. I could do an hour today. If you have something else, like throw it out here. But anyway, meaning of Christ today. This may be off topic, as cool, but I've been trying to get a credit card with my getting denied. Any suggestions? I suggest you post this in the forum on Liberty Aid Academy. I'm moderator in there, right? And we'll go through this together. Every detail. Did you do this? Did you do that? Have you tried it here? And blah, blah, blah. And we'll keep going until you're like, now I got 10 accounts. You follow me? Let's do it like that. Let's not do one answer today. It's a journey. And every time you get, yeah, well, I did this. Okay, great. Now do this. Now do this. Okay. So let's do it together, right? Jump in the classroom, please, over at Liberty Aid Academy, please. And put in that post, and we'll just, all the information you leave in there allows me to answer your question better. These are my credit scores, these are my cows, like everything, even photos or whatever, everything. Who cares, right? I'm just trying to get you what you need. So I sound like I remember everybody's. I don't care about that. I just want to get you the right answer. More info I get, the better answer I could give you. Okay. Jump in over there. All right. Christ consciousness. That was what we're about today and what's going on. And the start of the world, the beginning, the end, the Alpha, the Omega. Who knows that? Who knows every detail of the beginning, the end of time? Who knows that? Only one, right? There's only one. No one has ever mentioned this. Not ever. Human consciousness, up until the date I said it, has never mentioned this ever. Not ever. Not in anywhere. Never. Can you imagine? Can you just understand from that what you're up against? Do you follow me? They all know, and they never mentioned it. Not one of them. Can you do you follow? Unless you really, really chew on that and see what you're up against, you have to call out to God nonstop to be able to beat them. It's impossible otherwise. They have all the knowledge, all the power in the dome, but God has all the power, all the knowledge, and all the list. They have just what they have in the dome. God has it all. You see, it's their only chance. Okay. What? I got to plug in, and we're out of here. Come on. Okay. All right. Till next week. What keeps this thing going? Donations. Some people been donating. Thank you very much. So consider that. Right? I'm advancing human consciousness, all of it. Come here and you stay on that cutting edge, right? So any donations you make, the donations you made up today, you're the one that supports the change in human consciousness just by making it so I can be over here and do this. Keep a roof over my head, such as it is, pay the bills, and help you. So your support is what makes this possible. There's no other method, right? Because I could have all this information, but I couldn't get it to you. So your support is what does that. So I appreciate that. Thank you. And because of that, God bless you one and all in the name of Jesus Christ. I'll see you next week.